A very good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here, and we are from Group 6 based in Melbourne. So, as you guys can see the screen behind me, today we're going to talk about the cross-culture management based on the case study of the Inpex corporations. So, there are 3 members in my team. So, my name is Suchita. I'm the first presenter, and I'm going to cover the introductions, the issues of the company, and as well as I'm going to cover the first 2 parts of offset theory. And the second presenter is Bustra, that she's going to continue covers the other dimension in offset theories, because we believe that offset theory is the ones that Inpex corporations can adopt in order to improve their performance. And the last presenter is Shashika, that she's going to cover the global firm staffing policy and also will give you the recommendations to Inpex corporations. Alright, so before we jump into the topic, I want to identify the 4 key main words that will present in this presentation. So they are culture, values, norm, and cross-culture. So according to the Cambridge Dictionary, culture is like the ways of life, especially the general comments and belief of the particular group at the particular times and place. And when we talk about cultures, there's always the relationship between values and norm. So basically, value is like the standard guidelines, while norm is a specific guideline. So value generally is like the specific. Oh no, it's not a specific. It's like a general comments like what is good and what is bad. While norm is the specific regulations or rules that what people should do and what people shouldn't do in the culture or the social situations. Alright, so and for the cross culture, because nowadays that a lot of company is moving from a normal operations into the globalizations. It means that they cooperate in a different country across the world. So that's why there's a problems according to the cross-culture management. So that brings us to the case study that we will discuss today. It's about the Inpex Corporation. So just a little bit overview of Inpex. It's like the corporations as like the company oil and gas explorations that have the main office based in Japan, and it also have a business in other different countries, like 20 different countries across the world. And in this particular case study, we're going to look at the Inpex Australia only. And the Inpex Australia has the headquarters located in the Perth, and it also has the office located in Darwin. And this is the place where the LNP projects of the Inpex Corporation take place. And as you guys know that in Darwin, there's a lot of Aborigines people there. It's like the traditional people living there. So in that cases, the company also hire the Aborigines people and Islander there in order to work, because like Aborigines people is like they are living in Darwin in the Westbourne, so they know a lot of locations and stuff to do there. So when the company hires Aborigines people, they have like a problem with cross culture, and the problem with cross culture is also mentions about the health, safety, and work performance. And these 3 elements also impacts on the productivity and communications as communication of the business as the global. So in order to overcome this, we have phrased the strategy according to the hosted theories that we think that the impact can be adopted in order to enhance their productivity and also their communications across Australia with Aborigines and Islander people. So I'm going to cover the first 2 parts of the hosted theories that talking about the individualisms versus collectivisms, and the other one is about the femininity and masculinity. So for the first one, according to the graph, as you guys can see right here, it's the Hofstede and the Minko theory. Alright, so for the Hofstede theory, I'm going to cover the first two parts, which is talking about the individualism versus collectivism, and the second one is the femininity versus the masculinity. So as you guys can see, the graph right here, the Hofstede and Minko graph for the individualisms, right here, for the individualism, it shows that Japanese have the collectivisms method, and Australia have the individualism method. So what does it mean by that? So individualism is mean like you work as the collectivism mean that you work as a team. So you work like it's not I, but it's a we. So in this part we can see that Japan is like work collectively with the people, like working collaborations in the company, even though they work with foreigner. But the thing is like they work collaborates with the people in the company. While Australia, they normally works like using the individualism theory, which means like they don't want to really work to cooperate with other. They want to have the work done by themselves. So in this point, just about our recommendations. So we will recommend the Inpex Australia to adopt as their parent company is to adopt the collectivisms, meaning to say that because the Inpex Australia will adapt in will like work in the Darwins with the Aborigines people. So this is the good solutions for them in order to working collectively with the Aborigines people, even though they have a different culture, but they have to work as one. They have to work together in order to enhance their productivity and also the work performance. So for the second one is about the femininity versus the masculinity. This one, the data show clearly that in Japan, they have the equal opportunity between men and women. So it doesn't really matter like you have a kid, you are women, as long as you have ability to work, you can work as a man do. So this is the best practice in Australia. So I think the Inpex Australia also needs to adapt the strategies with the Aborigines people. So it's like the Aborigines people, no matter like they should have the equality between they should have the equality between men and women, even though they are Aborigines. So the company should hire equality between men and women to the Aborigines people to work in the Inpex Australia. So that's the end of my part. So Bushra will continue from it. Thank you.
Thanks, Chiyota. From the theory of Hofstede's cultural dimension, I'm going to examine indulgence, power distance, long-term and short-term orientation. When looking at the indulgence, it examines happiness and life control. In society with high freedoms like Australia, individuals are willingness to realize their desires with regard to enjoying life and having fun. They like spending time with their relatives and friends. This priority is to live that at that moment. From this point of view, we know that Australia is good at indulgence. However, for Inpex company, it is important to improve work-life balance in workplace. The company is located in Darwin and they have Aborigine staff. They should adapt their values to engage them. Australia is a country that gives you a value to work-life balance. It is stated that work-life balance is about responding individual circumstances to help individuals fulfill their responsibilities and aspirations to lead to mutual benefits of individual, business and society at large. There is an example about the company in Australia and how they are good at work-life balance.